Hey guys, thank you for tuning in to Moo Outdoors. Today I'm out here local lake. I came out here today to try out my new paddle right here, Aquabound Whiskey. And this would be a perfect time to help you guys choose the right paddle because paddle does make a difference. If you have a cheap heavy paddle, like after 1 hour, even less than 1 hour, you're gonna get tired. Your body's gonna feel it. But if you have a nice and light, efficient paddle, you can last all day. But choosing a right paddle can be a little confusing because there are so many different materials, for the shaft, so many different materials for the blade, and because of that, there are so many different variations as well. And there are different types of paddle too. There's a Greenland paddle, there is a wing paddle, and there's most popular the Euroblade paddle, which is this, and this guy. So today we're going to talk about the Euroblade paddle. So there are two major type of a Euroblade, which is this is a high angle, it's wider and shorter. Low angle, which is longer and narrower. So what does it mean by high angle and low angle? It's pretty self-explanatory. So with the high angle, when you paddle, your paddle is at high angle. So your hand is above your chin level, usually at your eye level, and you paddle high. High angle is more aggressive, gives you more powerful stroke. Hence, you get better acceleration and better speed. Versus low angle, when you're paddling low angle, your hand stays underneath your chin. So this is more relaxing. This is better for long distance, long day on the water. This is less strain on your body. But at the same time, this is slower. And there are some blades that are kind of in between, and there are different blade sizes as well. This is a medium size. There are blades which are bigger. So you can push more water, which means it's even more aggressive. If you want to get even more aggressive than the large blade, there's a wing paddle. Wing paddle is kind of spoon shaped, so it will push a lot of water, but at the same time, it takes a lot of effort each stroke. So the wing paddle is basically good for speed. That's why surf ski paddlers use wing paddle, because surf ski is all about the speed. And the opposite end of the spectrum is going to be a Greenland paddle, typically used with the kayaks that are very, very efficient, mostly a touring kayak. I actually want to try that with my Stealth, since this kayak is very efficient, and I want to see how it performs with the Stealth. So let's talk about the shaft. There are three different major shafts, different materials for the shaft. The cheapest option is aluminum, and there is a fiberglass, and then the next level, the highest level, is going to be a carbon shaft. So aluminum is going to be heaviest, fiberglass is going to be lighter than aluminum, but the carbon is going to be the lightest. And the blade materials, there's a nylon, commonly known as a plastic paddle. It's got some flex to it. Some plastics are stiffer than other. Typically on cheaper paddle, you're gonna find the blade very flexible. This is pretty decent. This is a Hobie paddle, comes with most of the Hobie kayaks, but it's still got some flex to it. The more flex you have, the more power you lose through the stroke. Next level up will be fiberglass reinforced plastic blade, which makes it the plastic a little bit stiffer and stronger. And there's even a carbon reinforced plastic blade, which is going to be very strong, probably strongest blade out of other blades. And there's the wooden blade. I love this blade. It's very stiff, very buoyant, even though this wooden blade is a little bit heavier than the fiberglass blade. There's a benefit to it. The blade is so buoyant. After the stroke, the paddle comes out of the water automatically. The paddle kind of does the work for you. Next level up will be a fiberglass blade, just like this one. Usually with the fiberglass blade, you can have this beautiful design. The next level up is going to be a full carbon blade, which is the stiffest. So it's going to perform the best, and also it's the lightest. Paddle prices range from like $30 to over $400. Cheapest paddle is going to be, I don't have it, but it's going to be with aluminum shaft and plastic blades. But keep in mind, not all aluminum shaft and plastic blade paddles are equal. If you look at $30 paddle, the plastic is going to be more pliable, which is not good, and the aluminum itself is going to be heavier. So cheap paddle like $30-$40, the weight of the paddle is going to be close to 50 ounce compared to a good aluminum and plastic paddle made by Bending Branches, Whisper. It weighs 37 ounces. So you're looking at about 10 ounce difference, and that makes a huge difference. And this Hobie paddle that comes with most of the Hobie model, this is pretty decent. Plastic is not too pliable. It's got some flex, but it's not too soft. And the shaft is fiberglass. And typically when you upgrade your shaft to fiberglass, you can find a blade that is reinforced with fiberglass. Thinner plastic but reinforced fiberglass, so you're going to have a stiffer blade and it's going to be a little bit lighter. And next level up is going to be carbon shaft, or the lightest. You're going to find typically a plastic blade with reinforced fiberglass or carbon reinforcement, and you have all fiberglass blade, and you got your wooden blade, and of course all carbon blade. All carbon blade is going to be the lightest of them all. Aquabond Whisper, their carbon blade version, it weighs 23 ounces. Doesn't feel like you're holding a paddle because it's so light. However, with the fiberglass, it's slightly heavier. This one weighs in at 26 ounces. Still really light. Why did I go with the fiberglass blade? With the carbon blade, they are pretty much black. You can't really do any color with the carbon blade. So, at least not yet. So with the fiberglass blade, you have this beautiful pattern, different color patterns. It looks good. Not only it looks good, when you are paddling, especially out in the ocean, you become more visible. Rather than swinging a black blade, which is not so visible, you are swinging a bright colored blade up high, way above your head. So it makes you more visible and slightly cheaper than the carbon. Typically, you're gonna have a push pin, just like this. And usually there are 3 holes. So one in the middle is non-feather. Could be 60 degrees going this one way, or 60 degrees going the other way. Depends on if you are right-handed or left-handed. Aquabond calls it a pulse lock. Infinite feather from 0 to whatever you want in a 15-degree increments. So I typically paddle 60. So feather means your blade is not straight, it's offset. So I'll actually do a video on feathering the paddle in the future. And there is a telescoping ferrule. The shortest you can make this paddle is 215, and then you can increase the length of the paddle up to 15 centimeters. So the reason I got this paddle is So I can use this paddle on multiple kayaks. This kayak is the narrowest, and this is low angle paddle. You're gonna need a little bit longer paddle than the high angle paddle. So it's gonna be a 215. If I'm paddling my Poorman's Harpoon 120, I go 220. And if I'm paddling a kayak that's close to 30 inches wide, I'm gonna go 230. With the posted lock, there's a 15-degree increments. This one you can set it at any angle. If you want to set it approximately, of course, at 1 degree, you could do that. If you've been following my channel, I love affordable gear. Affordable but reliable and durable. But when it comes to a paddle, you really get what you pay for. For example, $40 paddle and a $75 paddle, even though they're both made of plastic blade, both made of aluminum, the weight difference is going to be huge. As you upgrade, of course, your paddle is going to get lighter, going to last longer underwater. You can paddle faster as well. You really get what you pay for. At the minimum, I think you should get a fiberglass shaft with the plastic blade with fiberglass enforcement. So you have much better time, enjoyable paddle versus the aluminum paddle. But I gotta say, I really recommend carbon shaft. It's so much lighter, it's actually stiffer, and you can go with the plastic blade and with either fiberglass reinforcement or carbon reinforcement. But if you want to upgrade to carbon shaft, the fiberglass blade, this one is, I believe, $325. So even though the wooden blade is a little bit heavier, but it's got its benefit to it, this one is $350, slightly more than the fiberglass blade with the carbon shaft. When you want to upgrade to the carbon blade with the carbon shaft, they will run you at $400. $325, $400, I know it's a lot of money. Even $250, I know that's a lot of money. But Dan from Headwaters Kayak always says, if you have a budget for $1,000 on a kayak, you should spend $750 on a kayak and spend $250 on a paddle. And you're going to have so much better, enjoyable kayaking experience. What about the length? What length do you need? When it comes to the proper length of the paddle, there is a chart online. If you go to either Bending Branches or Aquabound website, there's like a general chart that you can refer to. If you click on the specific paddle, they have recommended chart for that specific paddle. So if you look at Aquabound Whiskey, the recommended length for you is going to be shorter because this is a high angle than the recommended length for Bending Branches Navigator because it's a low angle. So getting a right length is mostly a trial and error. You really have to try it. If you have a local kayak shop, they might have a paddle renting program. So you pay a few dollars, you can rent a few paddles in different lengths and really try it on your kayak. But if you don't have a shop nearby like that, you have to rely on that just the general chart. They have it online. So what you are really looking for as far as the length goes is you want to be able to dip your blade all the way underneath the water. You don't want to be paddling like this where the blade doesn't submerge all the way down, and at the same time you don't want your paddle to be too long and just becomes a little cumbersome. And paddle length is also personal preference. I like them shorter than a lot of people because when they are shorter, you don't have to swing as much, and the paddle itself is going to be a little bit lighter. And with the shorter paddle, kind of make you sit upright or even lean forward a little bit, when you paddle to dip your blades underneath the water, and keeps me from leaning back and paddling like this, which is not proper technique. You're gonna wear out your arm much quicker because you're not using your core, you're not using your legs, because all you're using is your arm and your shoulder. As far as the length goes, you really have to try it before you figure out exactly what length is good for you. And also, obviously, the wider the kayak is, you need a longer paddle, and also the higher the seat is, you need longer paddle. If you have a kayak seat that has adjustable height, it's a really good idea to get a telescopic paddle, because when you are sitting up high, you're gonna need longer paddle, and when you are sitting low, shorter paddle is gonna be more ergonomic and efficient. So I think that's all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, please comment down below. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more, and go outside and enjoy the outdoors.